Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about nursing. Maybe you're here because you want to be a nurse, but you can't decide whether you want to go the ADN route or the BSN route. Or maybe you didn't even know that there are two different routes that you can take. So let me teach you guys about that. So an ADN is an associate's degree of nursing. And then there's BSN, which is a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Now, there's a common misconception. A lot of people believe that ADNs are not really nurses, or that it's like way different from like a BSN, but that's not true. It's the same license. You take the same license exam, the NCLEX, and then you also have the same scope of practice. So let me break it down for you guys. And I have my notes here. Let's go into the pros of the ADN. Now, I'm a product of an ADN program, and I don't want to be like biased or anything, but I am going to tell you guys kind of why I went that route and like all that good stuff. But the pros of an ADN program is that it is definitely much cheaper and much shorter. Typically in ADN programs, you do it at a community college, so the prices are fairly good. I believe my program was around like $7,000 to $10,000. It was like somewhere ballpark around there for everything. That included like lab fees and books and like everything. So it's cheaper. It's also shorter. It's usually about like 2.5 years to complete this program. And you usually have to do like some classes, like prerequisites, right before you can even get accepted into the nursing program. So those usually require or include like anatomy, microbiology, like a psych class, and then maybe like some kind of stats or math class. It's shorter, so that means you're working a lot sooner, which is awesome because you're able to make money a lot sooner. And something that's great with that is if your end goal is to still get your bachelor's, then you're able to work and get paid while still going to school and working towards that end goal, which is your bachelor's. So that is kind of why I really wanted to do it, was because I had already wasted so much time in school studying something else, and I was like, okay, like I need to go to school, I need to start making money, and then I will focus on my bachelor's after I'm already working in the field. Well, another pro that comes with the getting out sooner and going to school is that usually where you work, they want you to keep advancing. They want really strong nurses. So they will usually offer to pay for you to go back to school. It might not be everything. It might be, you know, a certain chunk, but it's awesome. And then a lot of times these schools partner with where you work, and so you get an even bigger discount. Another pro that again kind of comes with the going back to school is that you already went through the hard part of nursing school when you do your ADN. You've gone through the boot camp, you've gone through the tears, the sweating, the sleepless nights, like all that stuff. Those days are pretty much over. And your RN to BSN is a breeze. And trust me on this. I was one of those people in nursing school that I like freaked out about everything. And then once I started doing my BSN, I'm like, wait a second. I go online maybe like once or twice a week, and I kind of just do my discussion posts and my papers and like all that stuff. Rarely any quizzes, at least where I went. And it's not bad. You learn a lot. You're able to apply it. So it's awesome that when you're in school and you're still working, you're applying like a whole bunch of stuff. So it's great. Another major pro is that if you are switching careers, this is the thing to do for you. There were a lot of people in my nursing program that were definitely switching careers. There were people that were in their like late 40s, late 50s doing this because they were working somewhere else and they've always wanted to be a nurse. So they're like, let's try this out. And they loved it, and they saved a lot of money and time doing it as well. Lastly, a pro that might be shocking to some of you guys. Don't take this completely like written down, stamped, sealed, whatever, but this is just from what I see in my area. I live in the state of Illinois. I'm in like the Chicagoland area. And so nurses that have their associate's degree and then nurses that have their bachelor's degrees, and this goes for new grads, get paid the same. Now, when I was in nursing school, when I would look up kind of like, ooh, how much do nurses get paid? Like all this stuff online, it would show that associate's degree nurses get paid like $20,000, $30,000 less. That is not true. The nurses that I started with that had their bachelor's, you know, at my hospital, we got paid the same. When we got our raises, we got the same raises, like our yearly raises or whatever. We got the same raises. Yes, I do have my bachelor's now, but literally like I didn't get a pay raise for completing my bachelor's. But basically, you get paid pretty much the same. So I don't want you thinking that, you know, you're going into the ADN program and yeah, you're saving some money, but you're not gonna be making any money. No, I get paid the same. Okay, so now let's get into the cons, because there are cons of doing your ADN first. So first off, there's the competition. If you're a new grad and you're applying for a job, and then there's another new grad applying for that same job, but she or he has their bachelor's, they're most likely gonna get it first, unless you have like a whole bunch of other experience that you did when you were in nursing school. They might kind of look at everything, okay, they're pretty equal, but this one's got the bachelor's, they're probably gonna go for that nurse. Another thing is that there might not be much career advancement. Now, you might get lucky, you might find a job that allows you to advance, but sometimes that's, you know, not necessarily the case. It might be easier for someone with their bachelor's to advance. A hard truth one kind of con is that there might be some disrespect that comes with having your associate's degree. This is like personal experience. When I was in nursing school, I worked as a CNA at this one hospital, and I remember them kind of, this other CNA, she was in nursing school too, asking, you know, where I go to school, and I told her, and she's like, whoa, like, you're only gonna have your associates. May I just add, I got a job literally like right away. I think everyone in my program got jobs right away after graduating. So that is total myth that you will have a hard time finding a job. There's just that slight disrespect that comes with it, that when people find out that you have an associate's, they kind of might look at you a little differently. Okay, so now let's go into the Bachelors of Science pros. So Bachelors of Science, typically it's like 4 years. You usually do it at like a university. There's also like Chamberlain College of Nursing, which I believe that's like 3 years, 3.5 years. It depends kind of what track you go on and like all that stuff. So a pro is that you will pretty much be preferred over other candidates if you have your bachelor's. And this is because of, you know, hospital preferences, but also if your hospital is magnet status or trying to become magnet status. It's a type of accreditation, and a lot of times when they're submitting that application, they need to take into account how many bachelor's nurses they have. So if you're coming in with your bachelor's, they're gonna want you because you're a great asset to their hospital. Another thing is that if you have your bachelor's, you have more room for advancing. You are able to kind of get more like leadership type positions. You might even be able to become like a house supervisor. You might also, you know, be able to kind of move on to more like team lead kind of job positions. Again, depends on where you work though. There also might be more job opportunities in different settings. Now, I've known nurses with their associate's degree that, you know, work in hospitals and nursing homes and, you know, different like types of clinics and stuff like that. So it kind of can go both ways. However, I've seen that there is more job opportunities open for people with their bachelor's, and that includes like occupational nurses, nurse navigators, which is an awesome thing to look into. Then also informatics, which is another really awesome field to go into if you're kind of into that kind of like IT stuff. So that's a big pro that comes with getting your bachelor's. Another thing is that, you know, when you're done with your bachelor's, you're done. Like, you're out working, you're done with school, and you can have like your big girl, big boy job, and you are able to work. You know, you don't have to worry about, oh, I have this like homework assignment to do. So that is a nice thing. And that what comes with that too is if you are kind of ready to go back to school, you can, you know, go apply for your master's in whatever type of master's that you want to do in nursing. So like something would happen with me that when I really want to, like my end goal for now is to be a nurse practitioner. So we're also like a nurse educator. So what was like, you know, a hard like reality that hit me was like, okay, I'm working, I kind of still want to go back to school, but I still have to get my bachelor's, and I have to overcome that in order to go get my master's. So it's kind of not discouraging, but it's like, oh, that goal feels so far away. So if you already have your bachelor's and you're working, you're getting your toes wet in the field, you can just go back to get your master's whenever you want. Another thing that you should consider if you're getting your bachelor's is that, or when you're considering ADN versus BSN, is that you might be considered a little bit more safe, kind of secure in your job, because kind of like word on the street is that you like within like the next like 10 to however many years, they're considering making all nurses be required to have their bachelor's, and so, you know, if you already have that kind of under your belt already done, then you are basically, you have job security. So that's a very good thing when you're, you know, investing your time into going to school and obtaining a degree. So just a few cons that I'll go over when it comes down to getting your BSN. One of them is the money and time that you spend. You know, you're instead of like with the ADN where it's like you spend less money, you're working a lot sooner, and then you can either use that, you know, some money towards going back to school or doing whatever you want. You know, you have more loans to pay off, and then you're not really working as soon. Some of the stuff might not be as fresh because you did like expand it over the last like 4 years. So that's just something to consider, but it's more of, you know, it depends on where you go to school and kind of how many loans you have to take out and like all that stuff. Another thing is that you might not get paid more. You might get lucky, you might find a hospital that does pay Bachelors of Science nurses more, but if you don't, I could see how that's frustrating. It's like, okay, I put in more time, I paid more like money like for a higher degree only to get paid the same amount as someone who went to school for like 2 years like me. And so that's kind of something you should consider too. But if that's something that doesn't bug you, then that really might not be like that big of a con. So just a little bit about my experience. So as I mentioned, I have my BSN now, but I went for my ADN. And I went that route because I was in school for something else, and I was like, I need to start working. So, you know, and I knew I wanted to do nursing. I regret not doing nursing, choosing nursing like right away. So I did that and I loved everything about it. And then I went for my bachelor's. I went to a university here. They have an actual campus, but they offer the RN to BSN online, which most RN to BSNs do offer it online because it's mostly just, there's no clinicals involved. You're pretty much done with clinicals once you're done with your main RN license. But it was awesome. I learned so much. You know, it was kind of one of those things where I was like, okay, like everything I'm learning, I'm applying to work, and it's building up my leadership skills. It built so much. I really do love it. I feel like it was very beneficial. And it just flew by. It literally flew by. It was like every 7 weeks I was changing classes and learning something new, and I thought it was totally awesome. So hopefully this helps if you're considering. There was some loud thunder. So hopefully this video helps you if you're considering going to school, you know, into nursing. And if you guys have any other questions, please let me know down below. But hopefully this video can kind of help you in determining whether you want to go the ADN or BSN route. Maybe you wanted to do the ADN route, but you heard some things and you weren't too sure. So hopefully I've kind of helped you with that. But if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to leave them down below or over on my Instagram or message me or, you know, whatever. So I hope you guys have an awesome day, and thank you so much for watching.